Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. But while we're waiting and while people are popping on, feel free to post in the chat where you are coming from tonight, where you're joining us from. Oh, chat is disabled. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Well, we'll still go ahead and get started here in just a few minutes. We're going to let everyone join us. So we'll just kind of hang out for about 2 minutes and we'll get started here in a little bit. All right, it looks like our participant numbers have kind of hit a steady pause here. So we're going to go ahead and get started real quickly. My name is Johnny Logue. I'm here with New Student Orientation, and I will be your moderator tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us for our third summer series as we talk about health and wellness on campus with your students. Real quickly, I just want to overview what tonight is going to look like. We want to hear from you. We know you have questions and we want to get your questions answered. We have a fantastic group of panelists ready to get those answered. And so we want you to be dropping in the chat all of your questions that you have for these fantastic panelists that will introduce themselves in just a second. We'll answer as many questions as we can live on screen, but we also have a team working behind the scenes to answer your questions in the chat if we don't get to them as we're talking this evening. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and let our panelists introduce themselves and share a little bit more about the office that they're representing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Brackett. I'm the Associate Director for the Student Health Center. We're the medical care center that's located on that campus at UT, and we provide health care and take care of the healthcare needs of the students that are there on campus, whether they live on campus or off campus. When they're enrolled at the university, and we'll get a little bit more into what we do a little bit later into this conversation. But I just want to say thanks, and I appreciate you guys signing on and participating in this session.
Thank you, Daryl. Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Locke, and I am the director of the Rec Sports Department. And I will pass it on to the next person.
Hello, my name is Allison Cole. I am a care manager with 974 Help, which is a 24/7 line for students that might be in distress or need support. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Duselier. I'm the director of the Center for Health Education and Wellness. And we do education and outreach around alcohol, sexual assault prevention, sexual health, stress management, and sleep.
Okay, I think that's me. Hi, my name is Judy Gibbons. I use she, her pronouns. I am the clinical director and associate director of the Student Counseling Center. We are located in the Health Center building, and we are the student fee supported mental health provider on campus.
All right, thank you, panelists. Like I said earlier, family members, feel free to start dropping your questions in the Q&A feature. We want to hear from you. We want to get all of your questions answered tonight. But just to go ahead and kick us off, I do have a question for all of our panelists. So if you all could take turns answering this one, what is one thing about your office that is important for students and families to know before they arrive back on campus in August?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. My name's Daryl. I'm with Student Health. And the most important thing I think you can have your student do is have an insurance card. If they leave home and they come away from home and they're covered under your insurance, you need to make sure that they have a current insurance card, if they have insurance, with them in case they need to receive medical care, they need to have a prescription filled, or they need to have any kind of healthcare related activities. They need to bring an insurance card with them. So if your student doesn't have one, there's still time for you to go ahead and order that from your insurance company or request that and have that brought with them so they can keep it in their pocket, their billfold, their backpack, anything while they're here living in Knoxville.
Good evening again, everyone. For rec sports, the most important thing I think you can tell your students is to follow us on one of our social media accounts. All of our signups, all of our connections to programming and special events are located on our social media accounts. In addition to that, the campus calendar is also a great place to find things that we are doing. We see about 86% of our students on campus come to visit us, and so it's a great place for them to connect and meet other people and take care of their bodies.
Hello. I think with 974 HELP, it is important to remember that it is a support line for students that might be in distress. And if you are questioning whether to call or whether a student needs support, it's okay to just call and talk through that with us. It is not required to provide information. We're willing to just have a conversation with you on the phone about what's going on.
Hi, I think the important thing to know about the Center for Health Education and Wellness is that we have information and resources that are about the most common issues that affect college students, and we're here to help them be successful. That's the reason that we're here. So we want them to do well in classes and graduate and have a foundation for a healthy future without any negative things that have happened to impair their future. So that's the important thing about our office.
Lori, I really like the way you say that about us being here to support them in their wellness all the way through their college careers. I would like students to know that wellness underpins everything they do as students to be successful students, taking care of their physical health, their mental health, taking care of their bodies with physical activity, supports all the work they're doing with their minds in classes. So we're here to support them in that part of their effort to have a complete student experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for sharing. We're going to go ahead and get started with some questions from the audience. This first question is for Daryl. So if a student has a regular prescription, is there a pharmacy on campus where they can have that script filled using their insurance card?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. The Student Health Center is a very large medical complex, and we have a full service pharmacy there that is open when we're open. They accept insurance. And my recommendation would be that if you have a student that has a regular prescription that they take all the time, to go ahead and have that prescription transferred to the UT Student Health Center pharmacy. Their contact information can be found on our website, and they will fill that prescription, whether it's monthly, whether it's a 90-day, they'll bill the insurance, and they have a special pricing arrangement there because they're college students. Your prescription may actually cost you much less per fill per month than you're paying now. So if it's a regular prescription, go online to the UT Student Health Center Pharmacy. You can Google that. It'll take you right to the website, and you can make arrangements by calling that pharmacy with the pharmacist to have that prescription directed there. If they can pick it up, they'll notify. They even take it to the student if the student can't come down there. It's a great pharmacy arrangement. We're very proud to have it.
Thank you, Daryl. This next question is for Katie and Rec Sports. If family members are visiting their student on campus, can they also utilize the T-Rex facilities?
Yes, that's a great question. We love when our students bring their families and want to work out. There is a $10 charge for any guest, and students can bring up to 2 guests at a time. If you are interested in bringing a large group with your student because you're visiting, then we just need someone to reach out to our administrative office so that we can make arrangements for that.
Thank you. All right, our next question is for Allison and 974 HELP. Can you tell me a little bit more about the services you offer and what maybe is a reason a student would utilize your office and call 974 HELP?
Yes, so we offer case management support, which is helping students connect to resources both on and off campus. People will call with a variety of concerns. We can help get students connected to mental health supports, academic supports, student disability services, and are really willing to talk with you about anything a student might be struggling with.
Thank you. All right, our next question is for Lori and the Center for Health Education. How can a family member help promote healthy eating habits for their student, even if they are states away?
That's a great question. I think an important thing is to really encourage students to eat when they're hungry and, try not to stop when they're full, try not to overeat. And really pay attention to their body signals around hunger and food. Because if they get disconnected, if they skip meals and don't pay attention to those hunger signals, it'll just lead to problems down the road. And also just encourage them to eat a variety of foods. There's a lot of choices available in the dining halls and anywhere that you can buy food on campus. So to eat a variety of foods, pay attention to when they're hungry and when they're full, and make sure they eat regular meals so they don't get too hungry. And, that can just lead to feeling exhausted and stressed and everything else.
Awesome. Thank you. And great advice. Judy, we're going to head to you for a question about the counseling center. Is there a limit on the number of appointments students can make, and what different types of appointments are offered? Is it group sessions, individual sessions? Are they in person, over Zoom?
The answer to all of this is yes. We are this fall going to do both telehealth and in-person sessions. We understand that people have a different levels of comfort in being in a therapy room, which is 45 minutes or so in the same room with the same person. Not everybody is at that comfort level. So we're also offering telehealth sessions along with in-person sessions. We do offer individual and group as the primary things that we do. When someone comes to see us the first time, we call that a brief assessment. And in that assessment, we will talk with them about, is individual better for you? Maybe a group is better for you. Maybe we can help refer you to psychiatry services or even to another service on campus. So we take care of all of that in the upfront. And we don't really put a session limit or a number out there, but we do want people to know that we are a short-term therapy provider. And if people have longer term therapy needs, if you have a student that you say, my student gets seen every week without fail, and it has to be once a week appointments, and they will need that for the entire time that they're here at the university. Let me help you find somebody in the community that can provide that level of care. We are a short-term care provider.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Daryl, we're headed back to you. We have a lot of questions in the chat about insurance and a lot of different questions. So I'm going to do my best to kind of wrap it all up into one, but we can always come back and revisit. So can you maybe give us a brief overview of the student insurance? Who maybe needs to purchase that? And what should students do if they're an out-of-state student and maybe they're not going to receive in-state or in-network coverage? Just give me a broad overview of some suggestions for students and insurance.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a biggie. I used to do this when we did the in-person speaking with the parents. The first thing that parents need to know is that the Student Health Center does not accept insurance. The fees that you pay, there's a special programs and services fee that every full-time student pays that goes to UT, and a very small amount of that, it's about $100 a semester, comes to the student health. We use that to cover our costs, and we have physicians, nurse practitioners, laboratory techs, x-ray techs, physical therapists, the full gambit of healthcare available there at the Student Health Center. That fee that you pay covers all of their visits there, and we don't accept any insurance. The fees that we charge are for the fees that we have to pay out for resources, which are like x-rays, laboratory equipment, or laboratory tests. The x-ray cost, if you get an x-ray at a local hospital, it's $1,000, $1,500. We charge $20 for an x-ray. The laboratory test, we charge it cost. So a CBC, or complete blood count, I think we charge $8 or $10 for. It's $300 or $400 at a hospital. And we bill that to the student's bursar account. The bursar account that your student will have when they come to UT are the miscellaneous expenses that they'll get, like parking fees, et cetera, that are on top of laboratory fees. If they check in a book late or whatever, you'll get a small fee for that every month. Those fees come to the responsible party, whether it's the student, whether it's the parent, every month, and you pay it. If there's a health fee, if it's $20 or $30, if you'll contact us, we can provide you with a statement that you can turn around if you have private health insurance and file that on your health insurance and be totally reimbursed for it. I've never had anybody that tell me that you couldn't get 100% reimbursement for it. So therefore, you don't have to have insurance one way or another. If you have health insurance, which 95, 97% of the students do that come to UT, you can file that in on yours. But if you don't have health insurance, the costs are so low that it's much more affordable to be seen by us. We do have a student health insurance program. Most of the students that get that are graduate students because they're not covered under their family's insurance anymore, that you can buy. And if you have questions about that, you can call us at Student Health. The number's on our website if you want to inquire about that. But the costs for healthcare are very low, much lower than if you went out into the general market in Knoxville and went to a doctor's office. It's much better off financially for you to come to us, and we offer the same and many times superior services that you can get locally.
Awesome. Thank you. We can definitely follow up if people still have questions. But Katie, our next question is for you. How can students get involved in either club or intramural sports?
That's a great question. And first of all, I think I'll define the differences for everyone. Our club sports is a program that has about 900-ish students that participate. These groups compete across the country and practice on a regular basis, similar to what your high school clubs currently are. To find out more information about our clubs, you can go to two places. One would be the UT Rec Sports website under Sport Clubs, and it lists all of our active clubs. The other location is on the Vol link. All of our clubs have a page on there as well. Then our intramural program is more like the recreation leagues where you get a bunch of your buddies and you go and play. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for almost all of our sports. And we have some of our programming is also self-officiated. In order to register for that, there should be a link on the intramural section on the Rec Sports website that takes them to a software, a web-based software called IM Leagues. And that's where you can sign up for our intramural program. If your student wants to play, but they haven't made their friends yet, they don't have that friend group going on, there are ways to sign up as a free agent and get onto different teams as well. So those are our different club and recreation sports options.
Awesome. And thank you for kind of covering the difference between those as well. That's great to know. This question is maybe for Allison, and then maybe Judy, you can tack on. How is the counseling center different from 974 HELP?
So 974 HELP is a referral line. We are case managers and will reach out to students that we receive calls about that might be experiencing sort of struggle. It is not mandatory that they respond to us, but we will reach out several times. And if a student does not want to speak to us, that is okay. But our primary goal is to meet with the student that we receive a referral about, get them connected to the resources that they need. And that is called case management. And I'll let Judy talk more about the counseling center.
And honestly, and Allison knows this, that there are a lot of times that our services kind of overlap a little bit, or that we might work on the same cases together sometimes. Our service, though, is quite specifically mental health counseling. So if someone says, I go see a therapist or I go to group therapy, that is what happens at our center. Sort of in the opposite way to Allison's group, our group does not do reach out specifically to students. Sometimes we get a parent who will call and say, my student is having trouble. Can you call them? And that will not be our call. That might be something I would say, please call 974 HELP and let them discuss with you the best way to get your student engaged in the kinds of services that they might need. When they come to see us, we are enrolling them, so to speak, in psychotherapy counseling care.
Awesome. Thank you both for covering the difference between those two programs. Lori, I know your office has a program for students, a peer mentoring program, Vol to Vols. Can you tell us a little bit more about that program and how a student might want to get involved in that program?
Thanks for asking about that, Johnny. It's a great peer health education program for students who are interested in talking with their peers about health issues. They don't need to be a health-related major. They can be. It's a great way to get some experience. But if they're interested in talking with their peers about alcohol, sexual health, stress management, or sleep, those are the main topics that we cover. And students can apply to be a Vol-to-Vol peer health educator in October. So they go through an application process, and most of the applicants are selected to participate in a 3-credit-hour class in the spring semester. And that class trains them in listening skills and in important information about those health issues that affect college students. They learn some public speaking skills. And then once they're trained, they join the rest of the group who do like tabling and outreach on campus. And our office receives requests for presentations to student groups. It can be student organizations like fraternities, sororities, other organizations, and some for classes like First Year Studies 101, FYS 101. They will invite us to speak to their class. So those are some of the opportunities that the peer health educators have to go out and speak to groups. They're an important part of our department because, as you can imagine, with as many students as there are on campus, it's a great way for us to have more people out there. And, students will often talk to their friends when they have a concern or a question. So we want them to be well informed and at least be able to provide information about a good resource to go to get more information. So it's a great opportunity. The peer health educators are paid for the presentations, the tabling, and the meetings that they have after they've completed the class. So the class is a regular 3 credit hour class in public health that they register for and receive the credits for. And then once they start doing the work, they get paid hourly for that work. Thanks again for asking.
Yeah, thank you. Daryl, we're going to head back to you. It looks like we maybe have a few family members on here with students who are unable to upload their health information. They're receiving an error message, and also some people looking for more information on how to upload their immunization records.
Oh, yeah, we've had a lot of issues with that. And we do every year. And I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. There's a set of required information that you have to have for immunizations. And that information really applies to people that are living on campus in dorms. That's where all the regulatory constraints come from, is if you're going to live in a dormitory. And so there's a set of required immunizations that are required for every student. And then the ones that live on the dorms, the additional requirement is the meningitis information. If you're having problems doing that, go online, send us an email directly to the immunization email that's on our website. We'll get back with you individually. Sometimes we have server issues. We have that all the time, but just send us an email. You can call our number directly. It's 865-974-3135. 865-974-3135. That's the number into the Student Health Center. We also have an immunization number that's on the website. We'll get you cleared up. The main thing you need to know is that the immunization that is required to move in is the meningitis immunization. You have to have that, or they will not let you move into a dorm. We are going to be there on the weekends. We're not normally open on the weekends. We will be there staffed in the office. If you wind up and you don't have that, you can come down. We have a nurse that can give you that immunization and get you to move in. But that's the most important thing. So go ahead and shoot us an email or give us a call. We'll get that worked out ahead of time. And I will encourage you to do that. It'll be one less thing off your checklist when you come down there.
Awesome. Thank you. Katie, can you tell us a little bit more about employment opportunities within rec sports?
Yes. Our student employees make me very excited. The rec sports department employs over 350 student employees. Our starting wage is $9.50 an hour and goes all the way up to $14. And that'll start this August. We just are recently getting a raise for those staff. And we also offer trainings and opportunities for staff to take leadership roles within our department. Our department focuses on 5 of the NACE competencies so that our students are prepared for employment beyond the university. So it's a great place to help them learn and grow for their next steps. A couple of examples of job opportunities include desk assistants. We hire American Red Cross lifeguards. We also hire water safety instructors, people that take care of bicycles like bike technicians. We have a climbing wall, so students supervise the climbing wall and people lead outdoor trips. We also hire intramural officials. So there's a large range of different rec sports opportunities. And I would be remiss if I said I forgot our group fitness and personal trainers. So there's really something for almost every student out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Allison, I know you mentioned like reaching out to students, they don't have to respond. So do you ever reach out to family members if you're concerned about a student and the student isn't responding?
No, we usually directly reach out to students. We will try to call them, we will try to email them. And if some students don't wish to talk to us, that's okay. If they have questions about why we are reaching out, we try to answer those, but we also keep the caller's name and information that they shared private. So if a student has a concern about their roommate, we would not tell the student of concern who called us or exactly what was said. We just offer support.
Awesome. Thank you for clearing that up. And Judy, I have a similar question for you. If a student goes to the counseling center, is a family member notified of that visit?
Not at all. We have some very strict guidelines around confidentiality regarding mental health records that we are required to keep by law. And that in the state of Tennessee is anyone over the age of 16 and older. So when they come to visit with us, they can be assured that we're going to keep their information confidential within our files. Certainly, if we have students who are in emergency situations or crisis situations, we have to do what we need to keep them safe. And that is, again, that is as much our legal responsibility as the other part of keeping their information confidential is our responsibility to keep that student safe. So that may look like a lot of different things depending on what that student needs, but those are our responsibilities under the law.
Thank you so much. Daryl, we just got a specific question. Does the health center offer physical therapy? But in that question, could you also maybe tell us a little bit about some of the general services that the health center offers?
Yeah, sure. I was just online trying to answer all the questions. There's like about a million. So yes, we do offer physical therapy services. We have a sports medicine center there that focuses on orthopedic injuries, and we've got a full-time PhD physical therapist that works there for kids that need physical therapy to come in and have services. But generally, what you need to think about the Student Health Center is that we're a very large primary care family physician office. We have family physicians there. We have internal medicine doctors. We have gynecologists. We have surgeons. We've just got a full range of services there that provide services for the students there. We see about 300 patients a day. We have a full service pharmacy that does take insurance. I want to make sure everybody knows that. We have a moderate complexity laboratory that provides laboratory examinations, anything that a student would need in their healthcare workup. We have a radiology department that does x-rays there. It's a very full service comprehensive medical center for the students on the campus, and it's very low cost and available. We're open Monday through Friday during the business hours of UT. We're closed when UT is closed. We're closed on the weekends at night, etc. And we do referrals out into the local medical community. Knoxville is very blessed, for those of you that don't live here, with a very large, complex medical system where everything is available here. We're not a town where you have to go out of town to get medical care. You can get it all here. We do very few referrals out of town. The medical problems and complaints that we cannot handle at Student Health, we refer into the local medical community. I saw someone ask, why do they need insurance? Why do the students need insurance? We do a lot of referrals out into the regular medical community. If a student comes in and they have a complex medical problem, we connect them with a local medical provider that takes insurance. Or if you have to go to the hospital, if you get in a car wreck or anything bad, you have to go to the hospital. You need medical insurance information at that hospital, just like you would at home. So just think of the medical care that we provide It's a duplicate of what you probably have in your hometown. And most of that is provided through insurance coverage, except what you get at UT. And we do most of that through that health services fee. But you really need to think about our office is just like a hometown doctor's office that you use where your family goes. That's what the kind of care that we provide there.
Thank you, Daryl. Katie, someone noticed there isn't any field hockey. Is it possible for a student to maybe start their own team if a sport isn't currently offered?
That's a great question. So in order to start a sport club, it has to be through the student organization office, and you have to have at least 10 people that are interested. We have recently just added, I think it was 2 sport clubs. So they kind of come and go depending on student interest, but you have to have at least 10 active participants in order to start.
Awesome. Thank you. Allison, if a student is concerned about their roommate or possibly a friend, can they also use 974 help to refer them?
Yes, they can call us. They can also use an online referral. They can call 24/7. So if they have a concern about their friend, we have enough staff that someone can meet with their friend and someone else can meet with that student.
Awesome. Thank you. Lori, I know we already talked about making sure students are practicing healthy eating habits, but what about sleeping? I know college students tend to forget that sleep is important. So how can family members make sure that their students are getting enough sleep?
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. Sleep is so important for students and for everyone. I can't emphasize that enough. And yet it is such a challenge for students and for all of us, right, to get enough sleep. So an important thing is to establish a kind of a nighttime routine and, establish a bedtime. Most people need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. There are very few people who really don't need that much sleep. So it's important to think about, okay, when is the first class in the morning? What time do you need to get up to get ready for class and have time to eat some breakfast? And do the math of 7 to 9 hours before that to be starting that nighttime routine. So it really requires a lot of time management throughout the day and throughout the week to allow time for studying, writing papers, working, going to class, all the things that they have to do, and be able to manage getting those things done during the daytime and early evening, allowing that time for some recreation and getting outdoors, getting some exercise. And then, and that exercise really does help sleep quality as well. So that's important as well. So I think just establishing the nighttime routine and getting on that schedule of knowing when you need to get up. So knowing what time you need to go to bed, because we all know, students know that if they don't get enough sleep, they'll be falling asleep during class. They'll be sluggish throughout the day. They won't feel well when they're trying to study. They'll be falling asleep. So just trying to establish that routine is really important.
Thank you. Judy, if a family member is concerned about their student, would they be able to reach out to the counseling center and maybe refer their own student and request that they have an appointment?
What we would do if a parent calls is usually it would be myself, since I'm the associate director, it would be me or the director would probably contact that parent or get on the phone with them and ask them what the concern is and give them some consultation regarding how they can advise their student. What we can't do is allow anyone other than the student to make the appointment for themselves. Our counseling service is a voluntary service, and we want the student to be able to make that appointment of their own choice, their own volition, and because they're ready for counseling and they're ready to be in therapy with us. So we certainly can have a consultation with them. I talk with parents a lot.
Thank you. Daryl, if a student has a durable medical power of attorney or a HIPAA release form, can copies be sent to the health center to have those on file?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. That's always a biggie. The thing that all parents need to understand, it's very hard, and I've been a parent of 6 children that have went to school, is that once an individual becomes 18 years old, they become an adult. They have all the privacy rights that any adult has. And so the student, when they come and they receive care at UT, when they come, even if they're before 18 years old, they're considered an emancipated minor when they come to school. And so they have full HIPAA privacy protection. So it's very easy for a student to allow healthcare information to be released to their parents, and most parents want that information. We have a form that they can fill out when they come in. It's episodic. That means that it has to be done each time. It can't be a blanket form that is filled out when they come in as freshmen and it's good for the whole however many years they're there. But episodically, they can come in and they say, we want this information released to my parents or to my primary care physician at home, which I think is a good thing to do, especially if they're going to return home after they finish school, and we'll release that information. This is what I would tell parents. If a student comes in and they're concerned, the parents are concerned because they're sick and they know they're going to the healthcare system, have the student call the parent when they come in and they're seen by the doctor. Tell them they want the practitioner to talk to their mom and dad and give them permission to talk to their mom and dad. And our practitioners will get on the phone and they'll talk to the mother or the dad or the responsible party, and they'll let them know what's going on. And they'll be completely transparent, but we just have to have permission from the student to do that. And of course, we have a medical records department that will release any information. All you've got to call, that number's on our website again. You can call them, you can send them a fax or an email. They'll release all the medical records to the students, usually at no charge, if it's going to a student or parent, and or a doctor that's taking care of them at home. And we'll give all that information. But the information that comes in is protected under HIPAA for people over 18 years old or college students. And I do want to say one final thing before we get finished, because we're getting to the end of this. I've looked at the comments, and there are a whole lot of student health comments or questions, and there always are. It's that time of year for parents to be questioning about their students coming in. My telephone number is 865-974-2253. 865-974-2253. If you go to our website, my number is on there and my email is on there. I will answer every question that you have or refer you to the appropriate person that can answer those questions about insurance, because there's a lot of questions about insurance, about immunizations, about medical records, about release of privacy information. There's always a lot of questions, and you guys need to have those answered. We will do that for you. Just contact us, and it's a priority for us to make you guys comfortable with what's going on with your students when you come here. So please just give me a call or give our office a call. We will help you any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you. Like Daryl mentioned, we are kind of wrapping up here. So we'll take just maybe about 1 or 2 more questions before we start to log off this evening. Katie, I know we had already talked a little bit about just the gym that the T-Rex facility offers and some fitness classes. But can you tell me maybe a little bit more about some services that Rec Sports offered? Maybe that's fitness classes or equipment rentals or even trips off campus. Just tell us a little bit more about what students can expect out of Rec Sports.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Rec Sports has a giant facility on the west end of campus called T-Rex. And inside of that building, we have 4 basketball courts where you can drop in for basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and badminton. We have an equipment checkout where students can get all of the things that they need to play all of those games on the courts. Downstairs in our lower level, we have a fitness area, which has state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment. And we also have, I think it's 4 group fitness studios. One group fitness studio has bikes in it so that we can do cycling classes. We also have an outdoor center on that lower level where students can check out all the equipment that they need to go on a trip. They can also register for a trip. And we also have one of our services is that we have a semester-long bike rental where students can rent a bike for the semester. I believe we do that through a lottery. In the HIPAA building, we share space in that building. So in the evenings, we offer the basketball courts. There are 2 basketball courts in there and racquetball courts, a very small fitness room. And then we also have a bouldering wall and a climbing wall. We have the Student Aquatic Center, which is an Olympic-sized pool that was built in 1967. And in that facility, we operate the pool from 6:30 in the morning until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We're open Monday through Friday in our main facility from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. And then we offer services on Saturday and Sunday. We have about 100-ish group fitness classes during the school year that students can participate in. We also offer personal training. That personal training is a paid for service that students can sign up for, and our personal trainers are students that are trained to personal train. And then I think some of the trips that we're looking at, there'll be a 1 or 2 week-long trips over the winter holiday, along with weekend and day trips that students can participate in. And then, of course, our largest program, our intramural program, offers, I think we offer about 20 to 30 different intramural program competitions throughout the semester. And those are offered on weeknights, and we have a few stuff that's offered on Sunday afternoon.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That is all of my individual questions for you all. Before we wrap up, I do have one question I would like all of you to go around and answer for me. What is one piece of advice you have for a new student or a family member? And it can be any advice that you want to give. It doesn't have to be related to your area. It could just be like, have fun. So just go ahead and give us your best piece of advice before we wrap up.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, listen, thanks for asking that. I really appreciate everybody that's logged on here. There's like 265 people on this chat, and it's really good that you're engaged in this. I want you to know that all of the people on this interview are all part of the division that's here taking care of students from a non-academic standpoint. The University of Tennessee cares about the students while they're here as individuals and as people. There's a whole big support group of here for the students that are here. All of us have very robust websites and are very available to people and parents that call. I've looked at the questions, and there are hundreds of questions about healthcare, mental health care, all the recreational activities are here. Call us. Our numbers are on there. Call us. We'll talk to you. We work through the day. We're here every week. We work all summer. We're not off. So call us, and we'll talk to you about it, and we'll try to provide the answers to the questions that you've got. You have to understand that we care about the kids that come to school here. We look at them like our own children. And I want you to know that about UT. We care about these people, and we're going to take care of them while they're here.
So I agree with Daryl. We do care about our students. I currently have a UT student. So the most recent advice I gave to him was, go to school and figure out who you are. This is a place to do it, and you need to try as many things as you can. I think that's really important. And there are lots and lots of things for them to try. So come by and see us for sure.
Absolutely.
I think I love what Daryl said. I think just knowing your students are not alone. There are a great group of people that care, everyone on this panel. And if your student is feeling lonely, there's so many great clubs and resources on campus that they can connect with. And we are happy to help them find community and support.
And I would just say to ask for help before something becomes a crisis, whether it's help with a class, with tutoring, with something about where you're living or eating or anything, whatever it is. There's all these staff working in all these areas for this purpose. That's why we're here. So I just encourage, if something starts to come up and people have a question or a concern, to go ahead and reach out and ask questions about it.
Well, everybody already gave all the good advice. So the one thing that I tell parents a lot of the time, and the students, because sometimes moms and dads and students will come and visit in the summer, and they'll say, well, what should we do? And I'll say, this is your student's home for the next 4 years or however long it is. And this needs to feel like home to them, which means they're engaged in things. They work to develop new friend groups if they're coming here from far away. They are going to try all those new things and find that they really wanted to join after they tried 6 clubs. Their very favorite one was the knitting club, and moms and dads will have their minds blown that their kid loves the knitting club better than anything else. That's fine, because your student has found a place where they say, I belong. If it's knitting, say, bless you, child, for knitting. That whatever it is, that's the right thing, because that's where they say, I belong. That is so good for their academic health. It is good for their mental health. It is good for their physical health. They will sleep better. They will eat better. All the things that we've talked about, this group here today, when they feel like they belong and they matter somewhere, that's the best thing we can help them do and that they can do for themselves.
Absolutely. That was fantastic advice from all of you. So thank you so much again for being here. Thank you, those of you joining us from home, for being here with us this evening. Before we close out, I do have a few quick reminders. If you would please go ahead and take a few minutes to complete our session survey. You can follow the link that's about to be dropped in maybe the chat or the post-session email you'll receive here in a little bit. If you haven't already, don't forget to complete online orientation. We have a fantastic 1-hour online program that covers a wide range of topics to help you and your students prepare for August. And we would love to stay connected with you and your family. If you haven't already, we encourage you to join the Tennessee Family Association. We hope you will join us for session 4 on July 21st. We'll be revisiting the big 4: parking, dining, housing, and One Stop. We'll be bringing back the same panelists that we had earlier this summer for any updates from those offices. And so we hope that you will join us to revisit any questions or get any questions answered. Have a great night. We can't wait to see you in person for Move In August, and go Vols.